Darian Devris in Indiana have been going nuts in the portal, landing 6 commits already, which I think will all be impact players next year. Starting with Marcus Burton, who comes over from South Bend, Indiana to Bloomington, and he is a little bit smaller at 5'11", 165 pounds, but he is still an automatic bucket and a great guy to have as a lead guard. He missed a ton of time last year, only played 10 games, but in 2024-25, he led the ACC in scoring, averaged 3.6 rebounds and 3.3 assists per game, while shooting 44% from the field and 38% from 3 on 7.5 attempts a game. He's a great shooter with great efficiency and great volume. I think he's going to be a big-time piece for Indiana next year. Walks into their starting point guard spot. You also have Bryce Lindsey, who comes over from Villanova, had the big-time game against Utah State in the tournament at 6'3", 190 pounds. He slides in very nicely to that 2-guard spot alongside of Marcus Burton in this backcourt. A crafty guard that can go either way, score it a little bit, shoot it a little bit, average 12.3 points a game, 2.1 rebounds, 2.1 assists in 29 minutes. Shot only 38% from the field, but did shoot 36% from 3, and he did that on 6.6 attempts a game with some really tough difficulty of shots like you just saw right there. I mean, he's pulling up from the logo and just going nuclear in this first round game, taking some ankles, getting downhill, little floater, nice in-between game. And both he and Jaden Mustaf here, who they bring over from Georgia Tech, will be good in-between guards playing off the ball off of Burton, but they can also go on the ball and get buckets when they need to. Mustaf is a little bit bigger at 6'5", 215 pounds. He's a really strong guard, loves to operate in the mid-range game, also very physical defensively. Like here he is, Darren Williams is a guy that likes to play with a ton of physicality, and he just takes it away from him. Very dynamic getting downhill and finishing around the rim. That's definitely his game, but he can expand outwards, like right here, nice little decel euro, finishes with the right hand. He did shoot 39% from 3 last year, but it was on 2 attempts per game. Also averaged about 10.4 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, and 2.4 assists. So it's a great start there with those 3 guards. Then you also bring in Darren Harris from Duke, who is a guy that was just really talented, unfortunately just continued to get recruited over because he's at Duke, who brings in the most talent in the world. But he's a 6'6" guard slash wing, coming in about 205, former top 40 recruit in high school. And through the first 12 games of the year this year was actually averaging almost 6 points per game with a rebound and an assist, shooting 40% from the 3-point line on 3 attempts a game. So he's a guy that has a ton of potential, and I think he will flourish here in Bloomington. Could be a guy that can get you, 10 points a game, playing really good defense and shooting it very efficiently from beyond the arc, able to play off of these guys. So a great start with those 4 pieces. Then you look down low into their big ball, which is where basketball is going as a whole, not just college, but also the NBA. I mean, how many 7-footers can you get on the court at one time? It shrinks the court. It makes it harder to score. They bring in Aiden Sherrill from Alabama, who is 6'10", 250 pounds. He is a Mack truck. Bringing him in, he's a guy that can play really well off the roll, making decisions here because he's at 6'10" and not a true 7-footer. He's not the biggest lob threat in the world. Actually kind of plays underneath the rim from time to time, but he averaged 11 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2.2 blocks in 24 minutes, shooting 54% from the field and 34% from 3 on 2.3 attempts a game. That's an added bonus there, that he can step out there and knock down the 3 ball. And I didn't say he played below the rim all the time, just from time to time he does. But again, being able to step out and knock down that 3 ball, questionable to be able to play the 4 alongside of their other big that they got, who we're about to talk about at 6'10", 250. I worry about his foot speed a little bit, but if they can get him to play alongside of Samed Yigitolu, I believe I pronounced that right, who is 7'2", 265 pounds, then they could have a real problem here in the front court at Indiana. Yigitolu comes over from SMU, where he averaged about 11 points per game with 8 rebounds and 1.3 blocks a night. Just a rim presence, as well as shooting at 62% from the field and playing 29 minutes per game, like right here. Being able to get screened, but also be able to recover and make this block, as well as being a presence on the offensive glass. Yeah, Devris did wonderfully in this portal, bringing in not only the 2 bigs, but if they can play together, then this is what you're looking at as a starting lineup. And that is going to be dangerous, especially with Darren Harris as your 6th man. That's a top 25 team coming into the country with ease. You're looking at top 15. Now, if Sherelle can't play that 4 spot. You do have Trent Sisley, who comes back at about 6'8", 225. Maybe you can develop him, a former top 80 recruit, into your starting big. Or you also have a very, very talented recruiting class coming in, number 5 high school recruiting class, including a guy in Trevor Manhurts, who is 6'8", with ball skills all the way around. He's only 185, so he needs to put on a little bit of muscle, but he's got great athleticism and a great feel for the game outside of just being a dunker, and he's not even their highest rated recruit. Devris hit it out of the park this offseason, and I believe Marcus Burton's going to really surprise a lot of people in the Big Ten. I think that Darren Harris is going to be their X factor. If he is really good and he really can surprise some people, then they're going to be dangerous. And then you also have Mustaf here, who I think is going to take a big step forward next year in his junior year. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.